Hi friends, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter. And my lovely assistant and co-host, Pickle. We're trying to get Pickle to be more comfortable being on camera because Halloween is coming up and we want her to make some appearances in the 31 days of Halloween that I'm going to attempt. But what I have for you today are more films that I think you need to watch. This is a segment that you guys seem to enjoy. I told you I was going to do it on the regular, so we're going to continue on. I have 10 more films. They are Pickle approved. She's seen them all. She's my movie watching buddy. And these are films that I think everybody will enjoy. I have a little something for everyone. I picked from different genres. I have one thriller in here, but I'm kind of saving the horror for October. So be patient. If you're a horror fan, it's coming. Believe me, it's coming. I'm a huge horror fan. But today I'm going to just get into it, and the first one I have is a documentary film. I know not everyone is a fan of documentaries, but I love them, and I promised you I would never recommend one that wasn't awesome, and this one is amazing. It's so good. It is called Love and Tosha. It's about the life and career of Anton Yelchin, who we lost way too soon. And this starts out when he was just a young, actually before he was a young boy. It tells the story of his parents who were, they lived in Russia. He was born in Russia. And when he was just a young boy, they decided to move to the United States to give him more opportunities and a better life. And we learn about him. We will follow his childhood, when they discovered that he had an interest in film and maybe acting. And you see they show home movies, and you see from a very young age, he was just a gifted, amazing young man and wise beyond his years, and he is the epitome of what they call an old soul. And I mean, we're talking about this kid was watching, I think they said he was 10 or 12 years old, and he was watching Fellini films. I know adults that don't want to watch Fellini films, and I mean, I love Fellini, but I'm saying there are people, even in the movie community, who haven't seen Fellini films, and this kid was studying them and sharing them with friends. So it's really awesome. It's an amazing documentary. It's an amazing look at his life, and you will learn things about him that we never knew, the public never knew until this documentary was made, and his parents share things about him that they're just mind-boggling. And I can't believe that he was able to do everything he did in his short time here with us on Earth with some of the things that he was dealing with. And I don't want to spoil it. I want you to watch this. You will just be amazed at what this young man did and what he was capable of. And I can't imagine what he would have done if we had him longer. But it's really great. We hear from people like people who co-starred with him, like Jennifer Lawrence, Kristen Stewart, Chris Pine, friends of his that were just not involved in entertainment. And it is just beginning to end. It is a wonderful documentary. So if you have any interest in Anton Yelchin at all, please pick this up or stream it. Just give it a look. Love and Tosha. What an amazing man. What an amazing career. What an amazing life. And just cut short, but he lived every minute of every day, and you will be blown away. I know I was so inspired after I saw that. I had to share it. Now this next one, this is a film that I know I say that I don't lend out movies from my collection anymore. This is one of the movies. Why? Because everyone I ever loaned this film to never returned it. And it stars Val Kilmer, and it's called Wonderland. Val Kilmer plays John Holmes, the adult film star John Holmes, and this is about the Wonderland murders that took place. And we see how John Holmes got involved with these people. Was a lot of drugs going on, a lot of things going on, and he kind of wormed his way in. They really didn't want him around, but he hung around, and he was a problem. He caused some trouble, and this shows us what led up to what ended up being just a horrific graphic crime scene and just carnage, and how he was involved and the people who were involved with this crime. So whether you're familiar with the Wonderland crimes or not, the Wonderland murders, definitely give this one a watch. Val Kilmer is fantastic in this movie. And it's one, like I said, every time I've lent it to anyone, it's never returned. So I can't even tell you how many times I've purchased this, but Wonderland, it's a winner. Definitely check it out. Now this one was just re-released. It's a Draft House movie, but it was just re-released, and I think you can pick it up for like $8 on Amazon right now on a Blu-ray, and it's called Cheap Thrills. And this is definitely a dark comedy, but it's really, in some points, it's pretty gory and pretty intense in places. Basically, we have our main character who he's down on his luck and he's having a hard time. He decides to go to a bar and he runs into an old friend of his and they start to have a conversation. And we have this guy, you might remember him from The Office. He played Todd Packer. He's kind of the same character in this movie, but he's there with his girlfriend and he starts to dare them to do different things. Like, you know, I'll give you $50 if you go say hello to this girl or go up and do something. And as the night progresses and they continue to drink and party and hang out with them, the dares get more and more risque, if you will, and the odds are higher. And he eventually invites them back to his house where things get really crazy. And I don't want to get into it because I don't want to ruin it. This one, if you're a little squeamish, you might not go for this one, but I found this to be a wild ride, very entertaining at times, like I said, darkly comedic, but it's really a look into the human psyche and like how far would you go for money and to win a bet. And this is a really good look at it. But if you haven't seen Cheap Thrills, put it on your list, check it out, do your homework, see if it's one that you might be interested in. I have a blast with this every time I watch it. It's crazy, but it's good. Now, here we go. Here's the thriller. I would call this more thriller than horror. She's going to sleep on my lap. But this is one that I don't really hear people talk about. I absolutely love this movie. I think it's great. Mia Goth is in it, who's, you know, Mia Goth. We're all about Mia Goth these days, so and understandably so. This one is called Marrowbone. And the long and short of it, I don't want to get too much into it because it's very easy to spoil. But basically, this is a story about a group of siblings. Their father is out of the picture. Their mother passes away, and they make a pact to stay together no matter what. They just want to stay in their house. They want to live together. They want to remain together no matter what they have to do. And things start to happen, and it feels like kind of a ghost story, and maybe we're not 100% sure what's going on. Definitely has thriller aspects, creepy aspects, but there are some things that happen that will definitely make you want to go back and rewatch this to see what you missed. And that's all I'm going to say. But this is really good. I think it's criminally underrated. I think it deserves more love. It deserves more attention. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it, but I think it's well worth the watch. And if you're not a horror fan, a true diehard horror fan, I think this is a great way to start maybe getting yourself acclimated with a thriller, because it's not, you know, it's not like a slasher or violent or anything like that. It's more of a ghost story. So that's all I can say about it without ruining it. But if you haven't seen Marrowbone, definitely check it out. It is well worth the watch. Now this one, this is another one. This is a documentary film. It is amazing. It is very, the subject matter is very tough. It's brutal at times, but it's a very important film and it's a very well done film. They call it a masterpiece right on the front. It's called The Look of Silence. And basically what this is about is there was genocide that took place in the 1960s in Indonesia. And some of the people who committed these heinous acts are still living at the time this movie was made. It's from 2014. But they're still alive. And there is a family who lost family members in the genocide. And they decide to track down the killers of their family members. And that's all I'm going to say. Very intense, very brave of the family members who decided to seek out these people and find out, you know, what are your feelings on what you did to people because of this horrible government-fueled genocide that was going on. And it is a companion piece to, there was a film that came before it called The Act of Killing, where they actually talked to the executioners who carried out these acts. And it feels like they're kind of really detached from what they did and the impact that they had on these people that they just wiped out because the government said so. This one didn't hit me as hard. I have to give it another look, but I think Look of Silence can definitely be watched as a standalone movie, and you get the backstory and you'll be able to follow it just fine. If you want to watch both, check them out, but like I said, the first one, I have to rewatch it before I can fully endorse it, but this one, highest recommendation, The Look of Silence. Like I said, very tough subject matter, but really important film, so definitely check that one out. And this next one is it might just be my favorite Dev Patel performance and film, and it's called Lion. And this is also based on a true story. Dev Patel plays a young man, and his name is Saru. And he was born in Calcutta, And when he was a very young boy, he became separated from his family. He went out with his brother and he became separated from him. He fell asleep on a train and he woke up and he didn't know where he was. Long story short, he ends up getting adopted by an Australian couple, the mother of whom is played by Nicole Kidman brilliantly. And they adopt him. They give him a very good life. He's a very good guy. He's a good young man. But he starts to have these flashbacks of his life in Calcutta, and he remembers things. He remembers being at the train station. He remembers looking for his brother. He remembers certain parts of his life. He remembers his mother, but he doesn't know where he was. He doesn't know where he went. He doesn't know where he was lost, and he wants to find his birth family. Now, I believe I think this took place like before he had access to internet and things like that. So he basically starts driving himself crazy, and his family is very worried about him. His mother's very concerned. His father's concerned. They want him to be happy. They want him to be fulfilled, but they're concerned that it's consuming his life. This is a very moving, beautiful story, very hard to watch, and it kind of puts you in the shoes of kids who are adopted by great families, but they still have this longing to know where they came from and know the people that love them. And, you know, he wanted his mother and his brother to know that he's okay and he had a great life, regardless of the situation. But Lion is such a powerful, amazing film. Like I said, based on a true story. If you haven't seen it, definitely give it a look, because it's a banger. It's a great one. One I can watch over and over again. Now this one is this next one is a world cinema film. I'm trying to see what I believe it's in Arabic, and it's called Capernaum. I hope I'm saying that right, Capernaum. And we start out with our main little guy here. He's 12 years old. He is in jail. He's been jailed for stabbing someone. And what he decides to do is he decides to sue his parents for bringing him into the world, for giving him life. Because he came from a family who, they were impoverished. They did not have the means to take care of him or his siblings. And he believes that the situations he ended up in were because his parents couldn't give him the life that you should be able to give a child that you bring into the world. And we follow him through a series of flashbacks, and we see how he made do with what he had, how he lived on the streets at times, how he was displaced from his home, how he was trying to protect his other siblings. And it's a very moving but very important story. I'm sure it's not based on a true story, but I'm sure there are many kids like this. And it's a very interesting concept. Like, can you go after your parents if you end up in a situation because they weren't able to provide for you? And should they ethically have continued to have kids that they couldn't take care of? But this is a very powerful movie. It was nominated for Best Foreign Language Films. And I love this one. I go back to it again and again. Again, it's a little bit of a tough watch. It's emotional, but very, very important. So check out Capernaum. Now this is another one. This is from Bong Joon-ho, who you might know best for Parasite, Memories of Murder, even The Host. And this one is called Mother. It's fantastic. This is one that I don't hear people talk about as often, but it's a wonderful film. We have a woman who has an adult son. He is, I guess you would say, he's special needs. He's a little limited with certain things. And there is a crime, a murder that's committed, and he is blamed for it. And long and short of it, she sets out to prove his innocence. She believes that he is innocent, and she will stop at nothing to find out the truth of the story behind the crime her son is being held for. But it's a real testament to a mother's love and the bond between a mother and her son and mother and her child, and very, very powerful film. And I think it's a really great Bong Joon-ho film, as all his films are. But this is one that I think flies under the radar a bit, and it really deserves more attention. So that's all I can say about it without ruining it, but definitely check out Mother. And this next one, this is based on a true story as well. And the only other person I've heard talk about this, or who started a conversation about this, was my friend John over at PlatX2. He watched it and he absolutely adored it. I adored it. Based on a true story. It stars Eddie Murphy, and it says, Mr. Church, inspired by a true friendship. Eddie Murphy plays Mr. Church. He is hired by a mother and daughter. The mother is very ill. She's terminally ill. They hire him for, they say, 6 months to come in and take care of them, cook and do things like that. He's a very accomplished chef. but he really wants their relationship to end when he walks out the door. It starts when he walks in, it ends when he walks out. He doesn't want them to know anything about him, nothing about his life, nothing. Of course, the young daughter thinks more of him should be brought into the home. Like, she wants to know who he is, where he goes when he leaves, where he lives, what he does, what he likes. She wants to know him as a person, and he is very, very reluctant to break his boundaries and let this young woman in. And I don't want to say too much about it, but this is a beautiful film about a beautiful, important friendship that forms over the years. And obviously, his tenure with this family lasts way longer than 6 months, and it is just an amazing, powerful film. If you have not seen Mr. Church yet, I can't recommend it enough. It gets the stamp of approval from Plaid X2 as well, so that should mean something. But check out Mr. Church. It's really a wonderful film. And now this last one, this is just a whole lot of fun, and I really don't hear a lot of people talking about this one either. It stars Ryan Gosling, and it's called Lars and the Real Girl. And basically, Ryan Gosling plays a young man who is a little socially awkward, and he buys this real doll, if you will. It's basically like a mannequin, and he thinks that he names her Bianca, and he says he's in love with her. And his family is so concerned about his well-being that they just go along with it. And he takes Bianca around, and she comes to dinner, and he dresses her, and people talk to her. And it's really a very quirky, kind of dark comedy, but sad at the same time, because you feel for him, because you know he's trying to replace like a human connection with this doll, because he doesn't know how to really interact well with you know, a live woman. So I think it's a really interesting look at how far a family will go to help someone they love, especially when they know that they're struggling. But it is fun, it is quirky, it is sweet. It's really a good film, and it deserves so much more attention than it gets. So I can't recommend Lars and the Real Girl enough. This is so much fun, and I think you're gonna fall in love with it. It's one that I can watch over and over again, and I give it the highest recommendation. So if you want something fun and light, and like I said, a little bit of a kind of like a dark comedy, but very, very good, check out Lars and the Real Girl. It's a lot of fun. So let's get Pickle up. Those are our picks for this segment of movies you need to watch. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're looking forward to the 31 days of Halloween and horror that are coming, because I know I am. I'm thrilled. I can't wait to bring things to you. Whether you're a horror fan or not, I promise there's going to be things for you in the next month coming. But that's going to do it for me today. If you enjoy content like this, consider subscribing, hit the notification bell so you know when I post again. And you're going to be seeing a lot more of this little lady. She's got a Halloween costume to share with everyone. People on the live stream that I do with my good friend Cinema Dave, they already know, and they're looking forward to Pickle's mystery costume. But that's going to do it for me today. It's raining outside, so we're going to see if we can get these girls to go out and play in the yard. But that's it for me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful weekend, and that's a wrap.